Joined now by the co-host of The Herd, Joy Taylor. But Slick, has Aaron Rodgers' drama hurt the Packers locker room?
It has to, Marcellus and Joy. It has to, because it would be one thing if he was taking issue with the play calling. Then you're taking issue with the coaching. But if you are taking issue with the personnel, but you want a voice in the front office in terms of who is on the team, that means you're not happy with who's in the locker room. And if I'm in the locker room, I'm thinking, is he talking about me? Does he think I am not good enough to be here? And he now apparently has at least 1 foot out the door, doesn't want to be in Green Bay at all. So he's essentially saying, I'm not good enough to get the job done with him. And all of that is well and good when you're the MVP and you're playing like one. But when you play like he did in this last game, that changes the dynamic. And then when you kind of step back and you let everybody know, hey, this is how we need to do things, that patience and that confidence and that belief in a guy talking that way, like I got the answers for everybody, when you don't have the answers for your own game, that's going to stop me real short, especially if I get the feeling like you're saying that I'm not good enough to get the job done. You better make sure that you are good enough to get the job done. And Aaron Rodgers, for the first time in maybe a long time, demonstrated that he wasn't up to the job. And whether the offseason issues were a part of that or whatever it was, that changes the whole dynamic in terms of him being dissatisfied with everything else that is around him.
I'm with you, Slick. It has to impact the locker room. It has to hurt the locker room. Got a question. Is Aaron's hair wet or dry? It's starting to look a little weird to me. I don't know. Anyway, all right. If you look at this situation in football, let's talk football. Let's talk the ultimate team sport. Let's talk about how complaining really has an impact on the ultimate team sport and anyone else out there who hasn't even played the game of football. When you complain, you got to realize what you're really doing. You're all of a sudden authorizing everyone else who is battling an imperfect world, because none of us have perfect lives, even Aaron Rodgers. But when you complain, all of a sudden you set the dominoes in motion for everyone else who is fighting that battle of imperfection, of going out there and trying to play a sport that's based on will and skill, to now start to look at themselves and say, what is wrong with my situation? What is wrong with what we're doing? Should I be listening to coach? Should I question that play call? Should I be looking at my very existence with a complaint as well? Because we are all in on this pact, like this silent pact that we are all pushing past some of the imperfections in our way. But when the leader sits there and says, you know what, guys? Man, this ain't right. Everyone else says, you know what? You're right. And then they start to have their own inner battles of what's right and wrong. I've been on teams before where someone gets in that position of leadership, and then they don't want to hold up to the responsibility of that position of leadership. And it trickles down. And then the lesser guy who's now going to start saying, man, look, man, our therapy line too long. Man, look, what y'all feeding us, man, look. And you just start to hear it fester, and it materializes. It actually comes out in performance. So Aaron Rodgers, you dropped the baton, and none of your teammates, because they're not Aaron Rodgers, is going to pick it up because they don't want to be combative to you. So not to go too far on the couch with this, but damn it, Aaron Rodgers, as soon as you start complaining, them other dudes in their head quietly, silently started to look at their own self and started to complain to them as well.
Guys, relax.
Oh, God, I came with joy.
Oh, here we go.
RELAX, relax. We don't want to put too
Straight
much
out of the Aaron
on
Rodgers
wax
playbook
before they go up against the Lions and smoke them. They're favored by 11.5, according to Fox Bet. You feel like putting any money up on the feisty Lions this weekend, guys? Because I don't. I think they're going to be fine. Yes. Did some of this offseason drama affect week one? Sure.
Okay.
Is Aaron Rodgers, as the leader, fighting with the organization and posting last dance memes with Davante Adams, setting a tone for the season and for the locker room overall? Yes. Does that mean that they're not going to go out against the Lions this weekend and put up a great performance? I don't believe so. Now, if that happens, I will back off and deny I said any of this. But as of right now, I think the Packers are still a good team. But Everything that happened in the offseason is why I didn't like Aaron Rodgers for MVP this year. I don't think that the Packers are going to have a Super Bowl-type season. Will they win their division? Yeah, because the division is terrible. But Aaron Rodgers and the front office beefing is, again, not Aaron Rodgers' fault. I maintain this from the very beginning. This is on the Packers. If you didn't want Aaron Rodgers to come into a season looking ahead to his next team, looking ahead to his future, why'd you draft Jordan Love? This is your fault. As always, I lay this at the feet of the Green Bay Packers. Know your personnel. He's been there 16 years. You probably know a little bit about him and about his energy and about his personality and how he was going to react to this. And have a plan, because you clearly made the aggressive effort to take his replacement, meaning he would no longer be your quarterback, meaning as a human being, leader or not, he's going to start talking about his own timeline and thinking about his future in the NFL because you made him in bringing in his replacement. So did it affect the locker room week one? Sure. I don't think that you can deny that. You only have so much energy in a day to distribute. And if you're putting energy towards beefing with the front office, which may be fair or not, depending on what your opinion is, I think it is, it's still energy going elsewhere. And that's going to affect other people around you. So yes, did it affect week one? Yeah. Are they going to smoke the Lions this weekend? I believe so.
So I'm not worried about them in terms of the Lions. Short term, I agree with you, Joy. I would expect that they're going to win that game. But I'm glad you brought up the Last Dance meme, because I've been thinking about the message that sent to the entire locker room as well. It's me and Davante Adams. We are Scottie Pippen and Michael Jordan. And we are going to try to deliver the Last Dance, which means we're going to win a championship going out the door. Well, not every time a championship team announces that it's going to come apart, or a championship caliber player says, I'm leaving, does it work as a bonding event? Does it bring everybody together? Just as many instances where it brings people apart. LeBron James in Cleveland, and what that looked like ultimately when he made it clear that he was looking to go someplace else. More often than not, it can pull things apart. And it just depends on how that star plays and how the team goes. And getting off to a bad start, getting off to an embarrassing start, not just for the team collectively, but for that star player who is looking to go elsewhere, that suddenly becomes something that you have to overcome. It becomes one more challenge. And it wasn't as if we went into this season thinking that the Green Bay Packers were the favorite to win it all. They had some things to overcome already. So when you add this to the equation and what it creates in the locker room about, well, is this a Last Dance comparison, or is this kind of the thing where where LeBron ripped off his jersey as he's leaving the court in Boston and we're not getting anywhere close to a championship? There's some work to be done, and it's not just beating the Lions, it's how they play and how Aaron Rodgers plays in order to bring that locker room back together.
Yeah, it's wild. I got to push back on you, Joey, a little bit on this one, because nobody in the NFL should be less affected by them drafting your replacement than Aaron Rodgers his damn self. Because, as my grandma used to say, how you get here is how you going to get there. And guess what? How'd you get to Green Bay, Aaron Rodgers? You were drafted to replace a legend. And you sat there for 1, 2, 3 years, right? And I guess in that time, you held up a lot of resentment, because now at the end of your time with the Green Bay Packers, you want to let it all out. All right, go ahead and do that. But you know what? You're going to be compared to the greats. So let's compare you to another great who had their replacement drafted behind them. Jimmy G in 2014. You know what Tom Brady did to that second rounder behind him? Just kept winning Super Bowls and kept winning MVPs after the fact that Jimmy G was sitting there trying to replace him. Now, it's not a talent conversation, because Jordan Love doesn't compare to Aaron Rodgers, just like Jimmy G doesn't compare to Tom Brady. But there are forces at work that Aaron Rodgers should know about, because he went through that before early in his career. But now he going to act brand new. Now he going to act like, oh, the NFL shouldn't be trying to replace me. How about being irreplaceable? How about like everyone? My last year in Buffalo, contract year, they drafted a first-round DN by the name of Eric Flowers. Saw him first day of practice, thought he was better than me too. Really was up in my head, but I said, you know what? He ain't going to take my money from me. I got to get this. Bro, that's how the wheels turn. And now Aaron Rodgers is going to try and change it and going to try and reinvent the wheel because he and his feelings. Joy, the floor is yours.
So.
Yes, ma'am.
So.
Yes, ma'am.
Was Brett Favre's exit from the Green Bay Packers very sweet, comfortable exit? Because I recall it being a wee bit bumpy.
Yeah, a lot.
So if time is a flat circle, then we're back here again. And again, it's the Green Bay Packers that is the consistent factor in their star Hall of Fame level quarterbacks leaving in an uncomfortable way. So bringing up Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers replacing Brett Favre, history is repeating itself. And as far as Jimmy G goes, Tom Brady got Jimmy G out of here. So they took his replacement. Sure, he went out there and won, but then he got him up out of here. He went around Bill Belichick and said, look, this Jimmy G guy, right? He's a little too handsome for me. He got to go. Send him to the other coast. He's got to go to the other coast. And they did. And Jimmy G is not as good as Tom Brady, no. And Jimmy G is not as good as Aaron Rodgers, no. And Jordan Love isn't as good as Aaron Rodgers. It's okay to be angry or upset or bothered that an organization has brought in your replacement and you just won an MVP. Aaron Rodgers isn't wrong in feeling that way. What the issue becomes is what is he going to do with the rest of the team and to the rest of the team with his beef with the front office. Yes, it is spilled over into the locker room. I don't think that you can deny it. I don't know how it wouldn't. If there was this much drama at any organization or any company, it would affect everybody because you know how it is. People get to talking and everything that you guys mentioned is true. But they really weren't that good of a team to begin with, which is why the Jordan Love draft was an issue. You were at the doorstep of the Super Bowl, and instead of improving your roster, instead of being aggressive and pushing yourself over the line to get there, you brought in a replacement for a position that you did not need to replace.
Well, that sounds good in story form. They weren't at the doorstep of the Super Bowl. They were better off across the street because they got mollywopped to get
the NFC Championship game?
Yeah, and they got mollywopped. That game was over before it started.
That's the last game before the Super Bowl, and you didn't improve.
They had long arms. They were knocking from across the street. They were not in that game from hell no, and that was Aaron Rodgers' fault. Aaron Rodgers is 1-4 in championship games. Aaron Rodgers has an 83 passer rating in championship games. Aaron Rodgers does not show up the same in championship games. It's just the way it goes. And history does repeat itself when you don't learn from history. So, yeah, you want to blame the organization. Let's blame Aaron Rodgers. If you saw Brett Favre, the legend, go out of here bumpy, you're going to do the same damn thing. You're not going to learn from the great. You're not going to learn from the living legend himself. And I love Aaron Rodgers for responding to when they did draft Jordan Love. What did he do? He won an MVP, and he basically kept quiet. Well, why you can't finish that deal? Why you can't keep traveling that path? Now, all of a sudden, you're leaking. Why are you leaking now? You just came off an MVP. To me, it's just a little too much emo. Like, teams are always trying to replace you. The onus is on you to make sure that they can't replace you. Now we're going to try and reinvent how our businesses work? It's not the way it goes, Aaron Rodgers. And if anybody knows that, it's Aaron Rodgers.
No, agree 1,000% there. And it's not, Joy, I agree in terms of the Green Bay Packers could have made this better. It didn't have to become the issue that it became. But Aaron Rodgers is trying to reinvent the Green Bay Packers. Like, how crazy is that? Right. However good you are, the idea that you're going to change the way the NFL does business in general and the Green Bay Packers do business in particular, and they're not bowing to what you want to have happen or you want to do, and you're going to do it understanding, and if Aaron Rodgers doesn't understand this, then I have to think less of him than I do, which is, in the big picture, what is your motivation this year? Is it to win the battle with the front office, or is it to win another Super Bowl? Where should your focus be at this point? And I would hope that it's on the locker room and let me make the best out of this situation, because I certainly didn't get what I wanted out of all of the off-season drama. But let me not carry it in to the season. And as of right now, he has. So he has some work to do. And while he took at least partial blame for this loss, it would have really done me a lot of good if he had said, hey, we had a lot happen during the offseason. Wasn't good for us. I need to get us back. I need to get back to where I was last year. That would have said a lot to me, and I think it would have said a lot to the locker room.
I don't disagree with that, but I don't think that that's how Aaron Rodgers is made up. I don't think that that's his personality. And one thing about Aaron Rodgers is you're going to get Aaron Rodgers every single day of the week, which whether we like it or not, I can respect the authenticity of Aaron Rodgers. But you mentioned, Rick, how the Green Bay Packers do business. How do they do business? Because the way that the Green Bay Packers do business has resulted in 30 years with 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks, first ballot Hall of Fame quarterbacks, and 2 Super Bowls. So how they do business is they love to be good, not great. So changing how the Green Bay Packers do business might not be the worst thing for the Green Bay Packers. They are extremely conservative, which has led them to winning the division. They love to win the division. Oh, don't they love to win that division? They love that. And then what? Sal, you just mentioned they were across the street at the Super Bowl, right? They were in the NFC Championship game. The next game is the Super Bowl. You feel like they're across the street?
Yeah, they were kind of far from it.
Yeah, they were kind of far. So what do? Do you make some effort? Do you do something aggressive in the offseason to get yourselves on the doorstep of the Super Bowl, to get into the Super Bowl? Or you do what you always do, which is be good enough to compete in the playoffs and not make the Super Bowl. You have 2 Super Bowls in 30 years. Great, congratulations. Okay, that's more than the Dolphins have, right? But you're a competitive team. You're not a championship team. You haven't been for a long time. So you can't continue to say that you do business the best way if it's not resulting in the ultimate win, unless you just like to be good. Some people just like to be good. I don't know.
Okay, well, but there's 2 ways to look at that when it comes to business, Joy. I mean, if you are consistently good, as there's 32 teams, and winning the division every year, you get tired of that. I mean, you can look at the other teams in the division. They wish they could be the Green Bay Packers.
Right, but
there are a lot of franchises.
If that's the standard for what you do, then I can respect that. You like to be good, not great. But don't try and pitch me on you are a championship contender and you're right there. If you keep doing conservative stuff, you keep doing the same thing. What is the definition of madness?
Well,
doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
Yeah, how many times have they been to the championship game? I mean,
5.
They're getting there on a fairly consistent basis.
Yeah.
So, whether it's across the street or whatever, they're a lot closer than 28, 29, 30 teams in the entire league. I'm not going to suddenly say that the Green Bay Packers don't know what they're doing or that they're not doing. If they've taken full advantage of the quarterbacks that they've had, you can make that case. Have they not put competitive teams consistently on the field? I can't say that they haven't done that.
No, they absolutely have. But are you trying to be competitive or are you trying to win championships? Because the evidence shows that you're trying to be competitive, not trying to win championships. They're not an aggressive organization.
Or they bet on the wrong people. And that's the thing. Like, conservative or risky, how you go to Vegas, the conservative people sit there and say, hey, we're playing a long game. And the risky ones will say, hey, we in and out of Vegas 48 hours. I'm trying to get it. And you know which one helps build more hotels in Vegas? The risky ones, not the conservative ones. So I lean towards the conservative approach more than the risky one. But it's amazing, Joy. You just solved this Rubik's Cube for us. Because you just said the parallels between Brett Favre and his exit. He couldn't fully hold his water, right? He finally had to leak and show his emotions and mess everything up that he had carefully designed for over a decade. And Aaron Rodgers is going to do the same damn thing. It's that Spider-Man meme. Like, they point at each other. They the same damn dude. And then you see Tom Brady just sitting there up high looking down at both of them, pointing at each other like, y'all ain't the same. See, when Tom Brady went through this issue, you know what he did? He called his agent. And his agent was the same agent as Jimmy G's. And their agent was a consultant with Bob Kraft. And they worked something out because they know how to hold their water and finish the deal. And that mental makeup, that personality difference, whatever you want to talk about, whatever you want to say about it, it may be the difference between a conservative New England Patriots and Tom Brady winning 7 championships and the same amount of NFC championship games as Aaron Rodgers, and he's been in NFC all his damn life. I think it's about that mental approach that materializes on the field because it's still mind over matter.
Oh, so I'm so glad you brought up Tom Brady winning that championship.
Which one?
In 1 year in Tampa Bay.
Which one? Oh, okay,
because Tom had a ton of input in who was playing there, brought in guys, has input on personnel, not final say, just they consult him. They were very aggressive this year, and what did it result in? A championship.
Well, it didn't go that smooth.
1 year,
Joy.
He asked for AB from day one. And they said, they said, hell no,
They
and then
won
everybody
a
got hurt.
championship and brought everybody back.
Who ain't gonna bring Gronk back? Gronk left prematurely. Everybody wanted Gronk back, and then he didn't want AB until every receiver got hurt, and then Bruce Arians had to eat crow. Like, that's not a smooth way of saying that. And Aaron Rodgers didn't go about it diplomatic. If he would have had a diplomatic approach, he would have had a different result.
But that's not Aaron Rodgers' personality, though.
And that's why he ain't a
That's not what he does. No, I don't disagree. Look,
here's the other part, too.
I'm a 48-hour rager in Vegas. I've limited it to 24 hours now, in and out. I can't do any longer than that, and I gamble one little chip at a time. So whatever that makes me, I don't know. I'm somewhere in the middle. But that's not Aaron Rodgers' personality, and the Packers are not aggressive. Using Tom Brady and Tampa Bay as an example is the opposite of what they're doing. They were extremely aggressive.
Yeah, but here's the great difference. What was Tampa Bay beforehand? What track record did they have? They didn't have anything to show for all those previous years. So if somebody comes in, if Tom Brady says, I'm willing to come there, but this is what I need and that I want, if I'm Tampa Bay, I'm saying absolutely. If I have the Green Bay Packers record and I've had, whether it's consistently good or whatever, I've done that, and Aaron Rodgers says, hey, look, by the way, I'd like you to do it this way, I'm going to go, we've been doing this for a while, and we've been pretty good, and we were pretty good with the guy before you, so yeah, okay, just put your suggestions in the box over there. We'll get to you. It's comparing Tampa Bay and where they were when Tom Brady showed up to the battle that Aaron Rodgers with the iconic Green Bay Packers franchise. I can't go with that comparison.
Yeah, it's just crazy. Aaron Rodgers did himself no favors coming off an MVP season. Now we're distracted by your offseason and then connecting it and exaggerating your week one failures. And then it distracts us from talking about the other guys out there who weren't playing well at all. Hey, my man Aaron Jones, 22 scrimmage yards. We haven't said Aaron Jones' name once this week. How about my boy Kevin King again? Remember him from the NFC Championship game? Got burnt right before the half. He up there giving up big plays again. Devondre Campbell, you just brought in, bro. You out there looking suspect. That's the worst thing about this. But Aaron Rodgers has responded before. He will respond again. At least we hope, right, Joy?